So the first thing that we're going to do is create a value scale. Now remember, we don't have white. I also want you to understand that you are the only working in your packet and you have all the space that you can use. I am going to demo this again in 5th block. So I am going to just do a portion of my segments here. So I don't want you to get confused and be like, why is she only filling in an area? So I don't have to use another packet for the next demo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Pure color, as I told you guys, that's the highest intensity, right? So in order to use your watercolors, you just have to add water. So I am loading my brush with water. And then I'm going to use blue for this demo. So I'm going to put, you can just place a few drops of water in there and then swirl your paint. And obviously you've loosened up that color, okay? So I want a pretty good ratio of like even water and pigment. And I'm going to put that in this box. In order to get a little bit darker, I'm going to go from this wet blue to a wet black. I'm going to mix those. I'm going to mix. Now, I don't have a white. So, in order to get a lighter blue to create a lighter a value scale, I'm just going to have wet color in my, or wet brush. And I'm just going to bring that into this box. So, I've created a tint, and that's a lot lighter, right? Now, to mix the two shades, I'm going to do wet into wet color mixing. So, I'm going to demonstrate that. So, same thing with the black. And this box is just pure black. Okay. Now, to mix the two colors together, you can do a couple things. I can add a little bit of gray water and then pick up the blue and go into it. Okay. You can also mix the colors in this well on your palette. You have these dishes and you are able to mix color in there. Just don't do a whole lot. Okay. So I'm going to show you how. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue and dab it over here in that. Rinse my brush. So I'm trying not to contaminate my main color wells. Okay. Pick up a little bit of black, mix it, and now I've got my shade mixed over here. And then you could have done it like that as well. Okay. That is a value scale. The color wheel. The primaries are what? What did you tell me the primaries are?
Red, blue, and yellow.
Uh-oh, I had a little bit of black left in there. Red, blue, oops, y'all just saw wet into wet color mixing there. So I've kind of ruined my color wheel.
Is there like 2 blacks in the whole thing, or what's that dark color mixing?
Probably brown.
Purple.
That's brown.
It's purple.
The one next to black.
The one she is referring to is purple.
Oh.
Okay. So my very, very sloppy red, blue, and yellow color wheel. The secondary colors. Now, you can use, you have Roy G. Biv on your palette. So it is okay if you want to just use the colors of the palette. Or, even more fun, you can try to mix them yourself. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some red there. Clean my brush. Pick up some yellow. Put the yellow here and here to mix my green. And I'm going to add the yellow into my orange. Or you can just do from your well. Blue. And then I'll show you the purple. There you go. So if you want to use the colors from the well, that's fine. Or if you want to mix them, that is fine too. I like the challenge of creating my own. And I'll try to swirl them together in the middle. You can kind of see the brown that's happening in the middle. Okay, so the most challenging thing of this is going to be practice mixing your skin tone. Or both skin tones. I want you to try mixing a light skin tone and a dark skin tone, okay? It's just a little bit different formula. It's okay to try multiple times. I mean, you guys know that there are a unlimited amount of skin tones, right? Some people, it wouldn't even be that strange to add blue or like a green into your skin tone color. So here I'm going to try to mix a lighter one. Let me make sure I'm on my video. So red and yellow make this kind of like a good, if you do it light enough, it can make a nice like peachy color, right? You can't really make a good pink without white, but you can use a really light red, right? So with more water in it. And my water is now blue, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to rinse it. Because then my skin tone is going to be purple, which also isn't that wild for skin tone. And while we're talking about it, artists often, it is not uncommon for artists to be really abstract with skin tone, okay? So who says you can't have purple skin in a painting, right? Unless you're going for realism, why not? So I've got fresh water, so I can make kind of a pink. And that's a pretty good basis for light or darker skin tones. And for the mixing of the skin tones, you can't mix a whole lot of color on your paper. Number one, this is not watercolor paper. And number two, you can very easily overwork watercolor, okay? So I'm going to mix my skin tone in the well. I'm going to add, since I have brown on my palette, I'm going to add some. I'm going to give a touch of black in there. I accidentally got like 4 tons more than I wanted. So I like this tone for a darker skin tone. Actually, it thinks that it needs a little bit more. It thinks it needs more red. Sorry, that was weird.
Those people who get those demos gonna be like, oh, she crazy.
That's okay. Okay, so I went overkill with it and had too much red. So there's a pretty good one. Now, watercolor is very translucent. So it's not going to look exact, okay? I actually like that skin tone for a darker one. I'm going to try to achieve a lighter one now. Just play around with it. You have that whole box to try to find a good skin tone. I've got a nice, warm, peachy now. Beautiful. Okay, so you have your brush, you have your palettes. What you need, if anybody left theirs at home, bring it tomorrow, but I will give you a loaner today. Carter, will you open that drawer behind you there?